10 high protein foods to lose fat and build muscle. When I first started training, I watched hundreds of videos on fat loss and building muscle. I'm sure you've heard you have to eat more protein to build muscle, which is true. Without doing the research, I went ahead and I bought my first tub of protein with the hopes of seeing immediate results. I would take 2 scoops every day while pairing it with a horrible diet. I've hit my daily protein intake. I drank the magic shake. Now, I did see results, but could I have maximized the results by implementing more protein to my diet? Absolutely. The analogy I give all my clients is, you train so hard, you get all your steps, but you eat half your protein. That's like leaving half of your salary on the table. Get all of your gains and hit your protein mark. Protein functions as a great catalyst for muscle growth and as well as fat loss, but only when it's done right. Protein is a macronutrient that has some people struggling to get an appropriate amount in their diet in order to build muscle and lose fat, mainly because it's considered to be less palatable than foods that are higher in carbs and fats. In this video, I'll be showing you the 10 high protein foods that will help you build muscle and lose fat. But before we dive in, a lot of research and editing goes into making a video like this. Just do me one favor, if you wouldn't mind, gently hit the like button. It'd be greatly appreciated. And if you enjoy this kind of content, subscribe and hit the notification bell if you're new. Let's kick it off. But before we get to the 10 foods, let me explain what makes a good protein source. Firstly, it's the food's leucine content. Studies have shown that leucine is an essential amino acid that is most potent at stimulating muscle protein synthesis. And secondly, we need to consider its digestibility, which is the amount of nutrients that can be absorbed and digested by the body. In this case, it's the number of amino acids that can be digested and absorbed and used for muscle protein synthesis, as well as growth. Therefore, the higher the leucine content and digestibility of a protein source, the greater the muscle growth and repair. This now begs the question, what is better? Animal-based protein or plant-based protein? Well, it depends. According to research, animal-based protein has a higher leucine content and a higher digestibility to the latter. To further support this, a review from the Journal of Nutrition states that animal-based protein has a higher digestibility and a higher leucine content than a plant-based protein, which are also deficient in other essential amino acids. This doesn't mean that plant-based proteins shouldn't be considered. This just means there needs to be a few things that need to be implemented to receive the essential amino acids and minerals in a plant-based protein diet. With plant-based, I've seen an incredible amount of vegan athletes who've been able to build an adequate amount of muscle tissue. So sometimes what I do with a lot of my vegan athletes is I slightly overcompensate with the amount of protein intake they get, so we make sure we're hitting the 20 amino acids that we need to be hitting to stimulate muscle protein synthesis and to get that quality. So for example, instead of 1 scoop of a pea plant protein, I make them take 2 scoops and make sure that they're hitting their protein intake, especially from various food sources. Number 1, chicken. It is one of the most commonly consumed high protein foods. The breast is considered to be the leanest part. It has little to no fat, but that's excluding the skin, which contains excess calories which we don't want, adding anywhere between 3 to 4 times the amount of fat to your meal. So if you're looking to maximize your protein intake with little fat, then the chicken breast is the best way to go. In 100 grams of chicken breast, you can easily get 23 grams of protein. Chicken is a protein source that can be easily found in almost any local supermarket or grocery store and can be incorporated into your lunch or dinner. Currently, I'm eating 250 grams of protein daily in order to build muscle and lose fat, and I get majority of that from chicken breast in the form of a chicken wrap. I have about 4 of these wraps a day, and I hit 85% of my protein intake from the chicken breast. The reason I love chicken breast is because it's so inexpensive and it allows you to hit your protein intake. Tilapia. Tilapia is fantastic. While living in Brazil, for a fillet, which is roughly 85 grams, I was getting 23 grams of protein with little to no fat. It's also relatively inexpensive. So if you're going the pescatarian route, or you just want to add almost the equivalent to a poultry version, tilapia is the way to go, which I absolutely love. Having it with rice was my favorite go-to meal while I was living in Rio. Number 3, lean ground beef. It contains a good amount of protein compared to other beefs like ribeye and T-bone steaks. Reason being, per gram of protein in lean ground beef, there's less fats. The goal is to remove as much fat as possible from the diet and save those fats for other meals. Per 30 grams of protein, there's about 10 grams of fat in lean ground beef. When we compare with regular ground beef, there's 35 grams of fat per 30 grams of protein, which is nearly 4 times the amount of fat than in lean ground beef. It is a bit more expensive than the regular though, but it is surely worth the cost. You can have it with a carb source like rice, pasta, or have it with a mixed veg to make a ground beef stir fry to help hit more than one of your macronutrients. It's a great protein source and can be incorporated in various ways. Number 3, eggs and egg whites. We love whole eggs, having them scrambled with toast, boiled, making a delicious omelette, or even having it with fried rice. Whole eggs contain a considerable amount of calories and micronutrients that come with the egg yolk. All of the fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K in eggs are found in the yolk. In addition, the yolk contains the healthy fats and cholesterol necessary for the production of the hormones such as testosterone. When dieting, the yolk can add a considerable amount of fats to the diet and can make it difficult to incorporate. This is where we introduce egg whites. 4 whole eggs are a total of 312 calories, 28 grams of protein, 2 grams of carbs, and 21 grams of fat. Those are amazing macros except for the high fats. Personally, on my current diet, that would take away half of my total fats for the day. 8 egg whites gives you the exact amount of protein and carbs minus all the fats, and 40% less total calories at 137 calories. When making my breakfast meal, I sometimes add a whole egg with my egg whites to still have delicious yolk in there. In general, egg whites are a game changer for anyone on a diet. Protein source number 4 is protein bars, which I absolutely love. They're easy to get, they're easy to take with you on the go, and for myself, I have a sweet tooth, so having a protein bar within my diet really helps me out in terms of being able to get rid of the sweet tooth, have a meal on the go, and making sure I'm hitting my protein intake. So with a lot of my clients, when they're going to conferences, they're in a meeting, or they need a quick snack, I highly recommend having a protein bar with you to make sure you're still getting in your protein. Number 6, whey protein. It's especially popular with athletes and bodybuilders because of its amino profile, which is high in leucine. Whey protein is a great substitute if you're unable to reach your protein intake for the day. In 2 scoops of protein powder, you get 30 to 40 grams of protein, which is higher than most of the whole foods that you're eating. Whey protein should be used as a supplement when you can't reach your protein goal. It shouldn't be your primary substitute for protein. Using this and other sources will work wonders for you. DeVries and colleagues describes consumption of whey protein as a robust ability to stimulate muscle protein synthesis. In fact, whey protein has been found to stimulate muscle protein synthesis to a greater degree than other proteins such as casein and soy. Whey protein alone has a multi-billion-dollar market cap that makes it a super convenient way to have a high protein meal. Now, if you ask me personally, hey Mike, what is the best protein out there? In general, a lot of the proteins these days have the same protein profile. So a lot of the times it has to do with the taste, its mixability, and if you trust the company. For me, that has to be HP Labs, and that's why I've worked with them for 4 years. The taste is amazing, second to none. If you want to try it out, I highly recommend it. I've left a link in the description. And using Diamonds 10 will save you some money. If you don't like the taste, comment on my next video and be like, Mike, you were lying, it's terrible, but I promise you, you will love it. Next one, tuna. Canned tuna is also another great animal-based protein source that is very rich in protein. The fats to protein ratio are relatively low. Out of the protein sources on this list, it's almost purely protein. Per 30 grams of protein, there's 0.5 grams of fat. This is incredible in comparison to the previous protein sources I've mentioned. Canned tuna can be found at your local supermarket as different options. There are shredded chunks, solid chunks, oil packed, and water packed. I would suggest you go for the water packed solid chunk option as opposed to the oil, being that we want a higher protein content with low fat. What I love with tuna is that you can make tuna salads or wraps, a sandwich, tuna pasta, or zucchini noodles if you want to have a low carb option. What's amazing about tuna is that it's packed, it's ready to go, and you can even eat it on the go. Number 8, lentils and other legumes such as beans. Lentils contain an average of 26% high quality protein, together with other grain legume seeds. They are the main source of dietary protein for over 1 billion people. On top of that, they have great potential for use in novel plant-based foods. In addition to it being plant-based protein sources, they're also great fiber and carbohydrate sources if you're looking to reach other macros other than just your protein. This is a good start. per 30 grams of protein, you would get 66 grams of carbs. This is why lentils are so popular amongst vegan bodybuilders and vegan athletes. Cottage cheese. Fat-free cottage cheese will contain anywhere between 13 to 15 grams of protein per half cup serving. If you're in need of a quick fast protein, it's one source that's easily accessible without having to prep it. But if you'd like to use it in combination with other foods, that's perfect. Some people tend to pair it with peanut butter or a fruity snack. Some cottage cheese brands do offer variations that already have fruits in them, but it's rather best to stay away from these brands because simple sugars are often mixed in for a better taste. Save yourself the stress of ingesting unknown sugars when you can control what you eat by adding your own fruits. Protein ice cream. In 80 grams of Movenpick, there is 242 calories, which has 15 grams of fat, 22 grams of carbs, and only 3.2 grams of protein, versus 80 grams of protein ice cream, which is 80 calories, and that has 1.5 grams of fat, 5.2 grams of carbs, and 11.2 grams of protein. Comparing the two, that's only a third of the calories, a tenth of the fat, and 15 grams less of carbs and almost 4 times the protein. The best part is that it tastes amazing. The most popular brand has to be Halo Top, followed by Arctic Zero, Skinny Cow is great, and the list goes on. I've also made a video showing you how to make your own protein ice cream at home. I've linked the video in the description. The purpose of this video is to show you dieting doesn't have to be unbearable. Sometimes people just need to know that there are healthier alternatives out there. And finally, milk. Milk is a fantastic source of protein. I would just watch the percentage of fat in that particular milk that you choose. So in this video, I talk about different protein sources and how that can help you build muscle and lose fat. As I've mentioned in the previous video, we do understand how the protein source helps you build muscle, but what about fat loss? Now, the benefits of protein is number one, it is very satiating. So having a higher protein diet will result in you eating overall less calories. Number two, protein has the highest thermic effect of food. So your body will be burning more calories digesting a higher protein diet versus a diet that has less protein. So consequently, your metabolism will be sped up. Number three, as you build muscle on a higher protein diet, your body will have a higher BMR, burning more calories because you have more muscle tissue. Therefore, you'll be able to lose fat at a better rate as you go on. This is why it's so important to build muscle. Now, all those things in combination makes me enjoy having a higher protein diet than usual. And if you ask me, yes, you can go for the simple 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Now, say for me, the way I figured out with my clients, I sometimes like going to 1.1, 1.2, sometimes as high as 1.6. That totally depends on their body fat percentage. That being said, I do have 1 or 2 spots left open for coaching because I've had some clients finish off and they've seen fantastic results. If you're interested in working with me, I've left a application in the description below. Me and you will get on a chat and we'll decide, hey, are our goals aligned? And if we can work together, we'll do that. But I'll leave the video here. Like the video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you're new and comment down below which is your favorite protein source. Again, I'm going to pick 1 or 2 winners for the giveaway, which I've been doing each and every single video. You guys have been enjoying the giveaways and I'm so happy that you're enjoying it, but I'll leave it here. I'll see you guys in the next one.